and welcome to Analyst Hangout. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. Well, I'll be having 3 analysts joining me on the show today, while one is right here with me in the studio. Al Bruce Omodion, the CRO, Invest Data Consulting. Good to have you on board.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and 2 other people will be joining us virtually. We have Olumuyiwa Adeyemi, the Managing Director, Atlas Portfolios Limited. And later on the show, we'll have Alhaji Kurfi Garuba, the Managing Director, Apt Securities and Funds Limited, joining us. Well, we'll start with a look at the market this week. Ambrose, let's start with you. Give us, just a review of what happened this week.
I would say it's a sell market, but luckily for investors today, we saw a little rebound, which is expected that after market have a kind of decline for straight 4 days. It's better that today bargain hunters will start taking position, and we saw the life of Zenith Bank, Access Bank, and UBA trying to spring up. But the life of UACN and LGN Holding really supported the market today. It's a good one. It tells you that Nigerian investors are really kind of intelligent investors. They know that when market is pulling back, there's a place that you should look at support level and start positioning. For me, it's a good one. But I believe that as we're entering the month of June, this is the only just 3 20 days in the month of June. Entering to next week, looking at the market, have suffered almost a week loss. That will also attract some investment in some sector that really help investors to edge against inflation. For me, it's a good one for the month because actually the month of May was positive. April was positive. Seeing a pullback, I'm not surprised. All
right. When you talk about the decline, I mean, I was also following the result, and I saw that we had this 4 days consecutive decline. What was responsible for that?
It's just profit taking, and also investors trying to reposition their portfolio because of hike in NPL. Most of them that are fearful also have seen that, because rate is high, automatically I will get higher return, but on a less risk involved. Then why those that are in equity are looking at actually higher returns and higher and higher gain.
All right, now very quickly, let's come to you, Muyiwa. Muyiwa, can you hear me? Muyiwa, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now very quickly, yes, sure, very quickly. Let's have your take on the review of the market this week. Just very quickly before we start reviewing the month of May.
Okay, before we proceed, let me say hello to my doyen and my dear brother. Alhaji Kurfi, welcome on board, sir. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see your handsome face yet again. How are you, sir? How's market?
Fine.
All right. Perpetua, you have been very unfair to us. You are allowed Ambrose to have the first shot. Ambrose has taken all the things that we are supposed to say.
But of course, I have a question for you. Once you're done,
Ambrose, that is the market. Ambrose is the market. He has taken it anyway. But we always have one other thing to say.
Exactly.
For me, the market is doing what it should actually do. And I was not surprised to see the market lose points. As a matter of fact, I didn't expect it to turn around today. I thought it would not see this turn around until next week. Because with the MPL position, what that says is leave equities, go to fixed income. That's what government has said. It is more expensive right now to borrow money interbank or for people like me or for fund managers. So the only place where you can have money is look at where the rates are cheaper. We have I wrote down something shortly before now.
Okay, go ahead.
I said lower prices and higher yield. That's what I said. With that kind of rate review. So what government has said to us is please equities do very well for March of April. We've seen March, April, May. Excellent. May was very, very beautiful for people that don't play the financial.
All right, thank you, Olumuyiwa.
The likes of Okomo, the likes of Presco turned the paupers into billionaires.
Thank you, Olumuyiwa. I think we've said a whole lot already about this week. So let's move on to a review of the month of March. And Alhaji, can you hear me?
The month of May. Yeah.
The month of May, yes. Alhaji, can you hear me? Okay, I guess Alhaji isn't there yet. So yeah, Muyiwa, so let's come back to you.
So I think next week will be a better week to run. We'll have a better week next week.
All right. Now, the month of May witnessed 2 significant moments. We had the Nigerian all-share index crossing 50,000. That was on the 4th of May. And then it would later hit an all-time high of 54,000 points since 2008. Now, talk to us about this.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, Alaji,
Go ahead.
Alaji, take the shoot, it's fine. Take the shoot, Alaji.
Hello, sir, go ahead.
Alhaji, please go ahead.
Okay, honestly speaking, we are highly delighted with the rising to 54,000.
Exactly.
Because we are talking of almost 14 years. We never witnessed that one. And this one is real. Real in the sense that the big players, they are there and we are expecting this to sustain it. The stock like MTN, Airtel, as well as the stock like Dangote Cement, Nestle Food, we believe this stock can sustain that price. So the 54,000 is real. Yeah. We are likely going to witness even higher before the end of the year.
Exactly, sir.
And the crossing of the Union Bank transaction really changed the whole game. Because for the first time, we had a transaction, single transaction of 300 billion. Just in a single transaction. This is
all right, I guess we're having a challenge hearing him. But very quickly, let's move on to the month of June. Tell us, what should we expect in the month of June?
Yeah, I've said earlier when I was just trying to give review for the week, but you know, I said in the history of our market, June is not really a favorable month for investors, especially now that we're seeing 2 months in this quarter closing positive. June, you expect that there will be a mixed trend. Why? Profit taking have started the month already. We expect that it will still go on, but up and down movement because people will take advantage of the pullback to buy into June. But another good thing is that all eyes are on 2 data or report that is coming from Bureau of Statistics. We're looking forward to see the consumer price index for the month of May. At the same time, though, the what we call purchasing manager index, that what activities that happen in the manufacturing sector for the month of May, that will guide us to see where we are going in the month of June. If it is positive, that we'll see expansion in that space. That means the economy is still maintaining a good rate, because we saw that the first quarter GDP was slightly down compared to the previous quarter. But according to my friend, I said I should not do it quarter, but I should look at the whole year, which I agree. It grew from around 0.41 in of first quarter 2021 to almost 3.11 for 2022. Fine. But if you look at the immediate quarter ended last quarter for 2021 fourth quarter to 20, that means a decline of about 0.87. If we are seeing all this and we start seeing also inflation going up, I will tell you the fund that is leaving the market now will naturally find its way back to the market again, because if inflation hits another either 18% of 17.5, as we're looking forward to see the figure, it can mean that all those returns that are already in red before in those fixed income instruments, that now because of hiking rate, people are going back, because we see that it has reduced kind of a gap between inflation and the real return they are having there. For me, if inflation just each up again, it will also widen the space. People will also look at where can I hedge against inflation. And some of equities in the market will give you that coverage or umbrella for you to hedge against inflation, but not all the equities on the exchange. But I believe that will also drive the market in the month of June. But actually, towards the end of June, we expect that because we are seeing earnings season coming up in the month of July, people will start repositioning their portfolio against that earnings season, knowing that we have seen the earnings performance of this company, their full year 2021, we have seen the Q1. That will give us an insight to where you should be positioning. I believe there are some sectors on the exchange that are really defensive in nature that can help investors to protect their fund.
All right, thank you so much. So let's have you, Muyiwa. What do you have to say about that? Muyiwa, can you hear me?
Hello, hi Dan.
Okay, Muyiwa, I guess you're there. You can hear me. Is that correct?
Hello, Ambrose.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Muyiwa.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
We want to see your outlook for the month of June.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for me, Ambrose has done a good work in doing a good analysis, but I have I differ a little. I believe.
Go ahead.
I feel. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I differ a little. I believe that before we can start seeing half-year results, it will then still take a while. And because it still comes back to this NPR rates increase, because that increase, I expect to see more activities in the fixed income space.
Yeah.
I see more activities there. What I believe will be seen in the equities market will be spikes that will be narrowed down to companies alone. Like this past week have been very, very quiet, not up until today. And you can see it did not affect the entire market. Yes, the index probably did not come down as one would have expected it to come down. But if you really take your time to analyze the stocks that had the impact, maybe 2, maybe 3 companies, all right? So that is what we'll be seeing. We'll not see the way the market went up in the month of March, April, May. It's probably the financial sector doing so very well, or probably the food and beverage doing very, very well. So just the spikes, it could be amongst the banking sector, it could be just 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Amongst the cement sector, it could be 1 or 2. So for me, we'll still see a quiet June. We'll see a quiet June with more activities in the fixed income. My opinion, though.
All right, let me take you on that, because you were talking about the MPR, but then there's a concern that the impact of interest rate hike may just be coming to effect. Do you share that same sentiment? Are we beginning to see the effect?
Yes. The effect is before in the past 1 or 2 months, the demand by our clients dropped whenever there were offers at times. We find it difficult to even get it executed because there were no activities were quieter.
Okay.
But between the past 2 days, we've been seeing calls, and then we've seen few demand requests for particular kind of instruments or the other. So I share that sentiment. I think we'll see more of activities in that space in June.
Let's see Alaji.
Exactly. Alhaji.
Yes,
what should we expect? We're not bullish or bearish market.
No, you see, I share with me. This June is likely going to go further down, and some corrections, because the companies that are likely going to declare their results in June, they have already declared: the Honeywell, the Plumbing, the Airtel. So we are only left with one choice, that is PZ. And PZ is not big enough to change the trend of the market. So corrections are likely going to persist in the month of June, but definitely sure, if the primary election of APC is successful and peaceful, that can change the whole trend. Because once we know among the 2 candidates who is to lead the economy in the next year, that can give the confidence of the foreign investors to start flowing back.
Exactly.
And if we got that one, the institutional also investors can take. Don't forget that quite a number of banking sectors are very cheap. You can imagine Zenith that paid 3 naira 10 kobo is now trading at 23. That give you dividend yield of about 14%, higher than the MPR. And if they will do apart from the price appreciation, you will see a bounce in the financial sector. But unless that election is peaceful and we get a candidate that can give the confidence of this, otherwise we know we have the only one choice. And the only one choice will now tally with the foreign investors either to come or not to come.
All right, thank you so much. I guess you were about to say something.
Yeah, actually, the adjustment of MPR, one is to attract foreign investors. We agree that. At the same time, to manage or to commit inflation. Like Alaji said, being pre-election year, they have to watch to see who will come out from these primaries, especially from APC. But I will tell you, being pre-election year, because of uncertainty that associated with pre-election year, they might start to sit at the fence and watch to see where we are going in terms of our political transformation or journey into 2023 general election. That will determine where they come or not. But the good thing is that our market in the last 2 years, or 2.5 years now, have been less on foreign players, but local investors, international investors have really kept our market float. And for me, for you to plan with a market now, if we're having local investors playing, I think it's more, for me, it's but like anywhere in the world, you still have, you need the foreign investors to come in. But I will also encourage our regulator, yes, it's free entry and free exit in any market of the world. But if the foreign investor is having upper hand in a market like ours, and when there is anything they want to sell, they sell down and throw us into red. But I believe that when they are coming back now, yes, it's free entry and free exit, but let's also apply wisdom, because when they are going, they don't tell you, and when they are selling, the market will bleeding. I'm telling you, when this rate hike in US is going on, and as we see now, they are in this market, they will throw our market into red. Despite the rate hike in US, our market is still stable. We can see a little rebound today after 4 days pullback. It tells you that it's good to have local players in the market. I think that's what regulators should encourage.
All right, Muyiwa, before we come to you, I'd like to take Ambrose on this particular one. I mean, some results are out already. So what other results should we expect in June?
Yeah, like you have said, I've seen Etsy, we have seen Honeywell, we have seen Flour Mill, we have seen Northern Nigeria Flour Mill. I'm looking forward to see few of them. It's what we call Resta, Express, expect Latin Africa and University Press. I think these are the ones left for March year and account that we're expecting to hit the market in this month of May. I believe month of June, sorry. I believe that going forward, yes, we expect a correction, but I believe that towards the end of the month, as I've said earlier, with the correction, because we're having second quarter, half-year result is very important to many investors. Seeing that it's going to change the face of the market in the month of July. Now, it might be, but positioning for ahead of the number will start from either last week of June or towards the early July. I see.
Okay. Muyiwa, I'm coming to you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so how should investors structure their portfolio this month?
Okay, excellent. Before now, before the 2008 crash, we had investors go into the market just because they have a love or a liking for a particular brand, and they go ahead to buy. And then a lot of them lost investments, lost hard-earned funds. What I've said to clients and what I will still say in this opportunity given to me is that do high-end stocks that have the right potential, the fundamentals, stocks that even if policies come out, even for example, APC or PDP does not turn out well, even if there are crises, these are stocks that will stand test of time. And we are lucky. Those stocks we've had them highlighted today, even within the past 10, 15 minutes. The likes of MTN, whether we like it or not, we are currently in a session now. And what are we using? We are using data. So the technology aspect is there. Some banking stocks, yes, we can look at them. The cement, we can also not shy away from the building, the construction sector, the WAPO of this world, the Dangote cement, we cannot shy away from them. So my advice to customers is, number one, review your portfolio very, very well. When stocks come down, you can edge it and buy at lower prices, but don't panic. Exactly. The equities market is a market for long term. All those people that go to collect money, short-term funds and deploy it in equities, they're getting it wrong. And that's why they lose funds and get into trouble. Don't panic. As far as fundamentals are strong, and the companies are still opening their shops, just keep it low, keep it simple, and then you will not get it wrong.
Yeah. All
right, thank you, Olumuyiwa, for that one. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll review some of the results that are already trending.
Hello.
Yes, we're taking a break now.
iBrand.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, Muyiwa, we're taking a break now. When we return, we'll continue the conversation.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll take a break now, and when we return,